Welcome to another episode of The Musicians You Know. Today's guest is Jacob Day.
Hello, everybody.
And we're going to talk about what it means to be a musician.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Of course. So my first question is the same as always. How did you start playing music?
Poorly. I started like a lot of people did. They had those con artists come in 4th grade trying to get you to join band.
Did you with the recorder?
What's that?
Was it the recorder?
It wasn't a recorder, no. It was the trumpet player. You know, like they gave a whole demonstration, and the guy played the Superman theme on the trumpet, and I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Mm-hmm. So then went home and begged my parents to get me on the trumpet. Got one. I think I kind of learned the Pink Panther song on it a little bit. Yeah. Walked around my yard probably for 2 days, and then it went back in the case and was probably never played again. But then it was a few years later, after we, sold back or stopped renting the trumpet. I had a friend come over and he brought his guitar and he showed me how to play "Come As You Are" on the guitar. Yeah. And then hooked on there, and that's the real beginning. Like trumpet didn't count; that was a blip.
Yeah, but were you already like into like rock music or like bands and stuff like that when you started playing? Like, did you already have like a favorite band and you had developed some of your music taste by that point?
At that point, just starting to. I grew up. My mom was the musical one in the family. My dad has 3 CDs, I think. He's got Johnny Cash, Simon and Garfunkel, and Elvis.
Yeah, that's good.
All good stuff, Dad. You're probably watching this, so just so you know, I approve. But a lot of my early music taste came from my mom. So that was a lot of 70s and 80s pop. Sting, The Police, Fleetwood Mac, a lot of classical and stuff like that. So it was kind of right around the time that I picked up the guitar where I was just like, Nirvana is life, and Green Day. My first cassette was Green Day Dookie, and my first CD was Insomniac. And those were about a year apart from each other for me. I went from like playing everything on tapes to actually having CDs. So that was like the early days, and it was all about Nirvana, Green Day, Weezer, Smashing Pumpkins, and all that lovely 90s grunge.
How old were you? You were like...
I don't exactly know. A lot of people ask me how long I've been playing, and so I know that first guitar I have is a Squier that was made in 1995. That's the first guitar I ever got, and my first decent guitar came out in 1998. So I know it's sometime between 1995 and 1998. And I'd guess probably around 96. But that's about as best I can tell you. So that's 20 some odd years. I don't know. So I grew up in New Hampshire, middle of nowhere, New Hampshire. And so that friend showed me the guitar, and then we had another friend that played guitar, and then as soon as I came in, with also another friend that was playing drums, so I got stuck playing bass. So we pretty immediately afterwards formed a band. We were called Cage with a K, because 90s. And that was the first band, and so it was pretty early on that I started playing with other people. And, of course, we were the terrible, 13-year-olds playing the kind of 13-year-old music you'd expect.
Yeah.
Breathe.
All right. Recording, so I'm just quiet for 3 minutes.
Move away.
No, you're fine. You're out of the shot.
No, I don't want to be in this shot.
You're not in the shot.
I was.
No, you weren't.
My butt was.
I moved it.
As you developed your taste into music, what were some of the major influences you had along the way?
Like as far as like artists that
it could be like even other people you knew or teachers you had, or it could also be artists that inspired the music you wanted to play.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, so a lot of the early ones are the ones from my mom. Then there's this like second generation of everything rock and roll, or grunge and 90s. And then I think the next big turning point for me was meeting now lifelong friend of mine, Nathan Bean. Hi, Nathan. who was a few years older than me. I think like 6-7 years older than me, and I met him through my sister. And he just had insane taste in music, and he made me a mix CD to kind of like educate me. And I remember it started out with, I believe it was Parliament Funkadelic.
Wow.
And then it was, you know, I remember Prince, I remember Bill Withers, Sam Cooke, just all this other music, you know, that spanned like decades.
I was gonna say, like, that's a little bit of a wider array of music there, because like Sam Cooke sounds nothing like Prince, you know.
No, yeah, he has and still does to this day have one of the more eclectic tastes in music. And so I kind of went into thinking of like everything that's pop is terrible and doesn't mean anything, to being like Prince is fucking awesome, you know. And like that was like the next kind of big, you know, awakening for me. And then, you know, to make a long story longer, I think the next big phase and like influences came from at work. I worked for this Mexican restaurant, again in New Hampshire. It's where you go for good Mexican food, Dos Amigos burritos. But me and my coworkers would constantly fight over the stereo. And then, but as a result, you know, I was exposed to a lot of things. And then there was this whole like second wave of just like a lot of like early ska and punk and Tom Waits and Man and just this whole other, again, of music I would never be exposed to, except people were just like, your music sucks, Jacob, we're turning this on. And then like, your music sucks. And then like third repetition through, you're like, yeah, this is actually really good. I really like this band.
What do you get out of music?
A lighter wallet. I think it's a common kind of misconception about musicians that we're all in it to get, you know, in a famous rock band. We're going to do it for that.
Yeah.
I think it started, you know, again, when I was like 13 or whatever it was. I kind of went from just that whatever everyone views themselves as that outcast loser kid, I think, you know, at that age. But like that was, you know, the identity then. Yeah. But then all of a sudden I'm in a band and girls are screaming at a talent show. So like I think quickly music just became an identity for me. You know, like I'm not Jacob Day, the, you know, awkward, you know, 6th grader. I'm a fucking rock star, you know. It's expensive. You know, you end up really kind of far down the rabbit hole when you kind of realize it just takes over every kind of part of your life. Like, it's just, I have to be doing it. Right. And I'd be doing it kind of no matter what. So that's kind of music for me. It's just, it's everything. It's most of my friend group. It's what I do, you know, when I'm not at work. Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Tune in next week. 2 weeks?
I don't know, however long.
Tune in for the next one. Bye. Later, everybody. Sick. Hold on. I gotta do this.
He does that a lot.
Don't put that in.